Happy holidays from the Astoria Podcast, where we're getting to know our neighbors and those who help our community thrive. I'm your host, Brie Mittan. I hope this episode finds you with a fridge overflowing with Thanksgiving leftovers and the anticipation of all the holiday cheer yet to come. For this season finale, I want to share some bonus content from some of the guests that were featured in this first season of the show. In this episode, we talk about Astoria's holiday magic and share some fun personal memories that are sure to put a smile on your face. First up, I have Ella Louise Smith of Powella Productions and co-producer of The Kong Show. In episode 105, we talked about our moms and how special they were. In this never-released segment, she shares about how her mom brought the holiday magic, and she talks about one of her favorite local spots to celebrate Christmas. So tell me, what's your favorite thing to do around the holidays in Astoria?
Oh, in Astoria, I love the holidays. First of all, on Steinway Street, they put up all of those lights. And they put them quite early. They put them up like around the Halloween.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's my favorite thing.
But then they light them. The lights.
They want you to go shopping over there,
Right, they want you to go, yeah. So they put them up on Halloween. But I love just seeing all the decorations up and down Steinway Street. And I love going to Cronin and Phelan's. It's my favorite pub, a favorite place to celebrate. One of my favorite places.
Yeah.
And they do so many things for the community. They do a Toys for Tots toy drive.
Oh, no kidding.
You bring like a new item for a needy family, and they collect it in a box there. They have, I think it's the Marines or people in uniform, they come in to collect them. You can take like photo shoots with the guys or the gals in blue,
so cute.
like the service people in uniform.
So it's like a whole event. It's not just like, oh, bring your toys here and donate them.
No, it's a whole event.
Oh, that's cool.
And
they do this every
year, around the holidays.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm looking for the Toys for Tots party where you can come and you can celebrate and hang out with them, meet new people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You take your selfies with the guy or the I can't say just guys because sometimes it's the women in uniform.
Oh, sure.
The Marines that are collecting the toys. Sometimes people bring like amazing toys. Sometimes someone brought a bicycle for a family.
Wow.
But you can buy whatever it was in your heart to give.
Yeah.
And you give on the Toys for Tots night, and there's drinks and people to mingle with. And Mike Peacock, who's the owner there, is always doing something for the community, and he does the Toys for Tots during the holidays, and that is just always such a warm feeling. And also the food there is amazing.
Yeah.
And we've met so many people through Cronin and Phelan's.
Yeah, that's the place to go. I actually didn't know that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't get out around the holidays too much. I'm usually
it's
it's cold.
Day. Yeah, it's family time too, right?
Yeah.
Going out in the cold. I guess growing up in Colorado, I just wrap up.
Yeah.
And put on the extra socks.
I really should.
Well, you grew up in the Midwest, though.
I did. But I grew up in central Illinois. It's a little teeny town called Trilla, which nobody would hear of. It's an hour south of Champaign, Illinois, which is where the University of Illinois is.
Okay. And you get all the wind and the wet weather and the chill to the bone.
Well, it's funny. My husband's actually from Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so, Nebraska winters are way more brutal than Illinois winters.
Flat
yes, it's cold.
And the wind comes like...
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Nebraska, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Illinois, not as bad. So, I went to college at Southern Illinois University, and I actually found, surprisingly, it's about 2.5 hours south of where I grew up, and it's surprisingly the winters were worse further south, only because it would rain and then freeze. And so it was just ice all the time. It's further south.
Storms.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those.
So honestly,
actually.
the winter storms were worse in southern Illinois than central Illinois, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What were winters like growing up in Denver?
Oh, winters in Denver, lots of snow. The thing is, I love it. I loved it. It's different. It's because you're a mile high.
Yeah.
I think the air is somehow drier, so it's like fluffy, crisp snow. You know?
That sounds delightful.
Yeah. And plus, I was a child, so it's a whole different perspective.
Right. When you're a child, you don't get cold.
Yeah, when you're a child, we would be out. My mom would put us in the front porch, and she would purposely slick it up, let it freeze, and we'd have our own impromptu ice skating rink.
Oh
And like just in our shoes, sliding around
That's
and
so
the front porch because we
cute.
had a large front porch, and she let it ice up, and we would play ice skating in there.
That is so
outside. Yeah, my mom had just a sense of fun, and she'd
cute.
also make big things of hot cocoa, and put like a big pat of butter in there with hot cocoa with butter in it.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
yeah, so you come back in from playing outside in the snow, and we were skating around and throwing snow around. We weren't like really building snowmen that much because it's
Yeah.
like that light, fluffy.
Right, that's not really snowman material.
It doesn't come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we like all bundled up, several layers, and our arms sticking out to the side because we have so many layers on. And we come in and take all the layers off and have the hot cocoa.
Oh my gosh.
She also made taffy, and she'd give us some taffy, which is like, it's kind of like gluey at first, and it has to be pulled. And she'd butter up our hands. Send us outside with buttered hands.
Oh.
So we're not feeling that cold because the butter is all over the hands.
That's so
and
smart.
we're pulling taffy as we skate. And then when she came in, we had to put down the little pats of taffy and get out more taffy. So we're ice skating and pulling taffy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, your mom was the best. That's so awesome.
Yeah, so it was like hours, like skating along on the skating rink that she made from putting water and letting it freeze, and making taffy. So she's just so creative. I didn't know like every family didn't have their own little private skating rink and taffy pulling.
That's the magic that moms bring to the holidays.
Right. That's the magic bring the holidays.
All of the holiday magic is moms. That's really what it is.
Moms. Oh, my dad too.
Oh, really?
He he would climb on the roof. He put reindeer and Santa up there. We had these plastic, they're like resin cutouts. Santa in his sleigh and his reindeer were on our roof.
Oh, wow.
And we had like a snowman that was made of like
Would he do it like Griswold style, like lights everywhere?
lights everywhere, so that when you plug it in, you're sure it can be seen from space.
Yes, I
That's
love
what my
that.
dad and brothers did.
Oh, I
Climbed
love
up,
that.
got the big ladder out, climbed up on the roof, put Santa and his sleigh and his reindeer up there. We had one of those lawn ornaments that was a snowman, one of those plastic snowmen with the light in it, so he lit up. And we had a whole yard. It was like, too bad we didn't it was like an amusement park. It looked like an amusement park. That's what he would
do.
do.
That's so cool.
So holidays was, there's that house with those crazy people that had the whole place lit up.
But the cool people, if you ask me, like when we would, there were so many of us. Mom and Dad always wanted to take us around town and like
look at lights. Right?
and look at lights.
Yeah.
Like literally driving through.
So maybe people said cool people then. Yeah.
Yeah. In our little small town, there was the park would do lights, and then I don't think it cost very much, or if it did,
through?
yeah, you drive through, and at the end they always gave you little tiny candy canes, and that was like something I looked forward to all year long.
That's so sweet.
And now that we live in Astoria, it's not in Astoria, but have you ever been to the Diker Heights Christmas lights?
I've seen. I've not gone there actually, but yeah, I've seen.
It's amazing.
Oh.
It's absolutely amazing. I did a lot of walking this season around Astoria Park. And there's a couple houses over by Astoria Park that rival Diker Heights. And I think it would be so cool. Anyone listening to this who lives around Astoria Park, I don't know how we can get it started, but I think there should be Astoria Park Christmas lights, personally.
I think they should be.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We could reach out to the Astoria Park Alliance.
That would be so cool.
And ask them, hey, how about doing something for Astoria Park lights?
Well, I mean, I can only imagine like how much work goes into something like that.
They have a whole volunteer crew that comes in the summer and cleans up the park, Astoria Park Alliance.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That'd be cool to say, hey, would you guys like to do a Christmas display?
Yeah, the Astoria Park would be perfect for something like that. And then you just like go and walk through. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That'd be so cool.
Let's reach out to Astoria Park Alliance.
Let's get it done.
Oh, the Astoria artists.
Yeah.
Some of the artists might be great with doing outdoor installations.
The Oprah of Astoria would know how to get that done.
Okay, let's do it. Oprah Astoria.
That's you.
Ella, the Z with the Z.
That's
Oprah
right.
Astoria.
Well, thank you, Ella Louise Smith, for chatting with me. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
You too. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Well, there you go. Astoria Park Alliance, if you're listening to this, please bring us a light show next year. And to the houses near Astoria Park who are already putting on a show, I want you to know you bring me so much joy when I'm out walking. and I know I'm not the only one. If you want to hear more from Ella, check out episode 105 or find her on Instagram at The Kong Show on TV. For this next segment, I have Crystal of Crystal's Confections. In episode 103, we talk about how she makes custom cakes that bring joy into some of the most meaningful moments of people's lives. In this bonus clip, you'll hear that joy come through while she talks about her holiday traditions with her daughter.
Christmas is literally my favorite. Besides Halloween, Christmas is my favorite holiday. I freaking love Christmas. I love Christmas.
I go crazy. Yes.
And so the lights and everything. So I've actually gotten her obsessed with Halloween and Christmas too. So now we can share this together. So I wanted to take her to see the lights. Well, in terms of Astoria with Christmas, I love taking my daughter out to look at the lights. Like the houses around here, like do some real nice work with the lights. Like there's a lot of effort.
Like what's your favorite area to do that?
Oh my gosh, I would say between 24th Ave and almost not at like 24th and like those side houses and those side streets like throughout to Ditmars. Those are the houses I think I have a lot of lights, and I think there's some on like the other side too, but that's where I used to go the most. And like because I know houses from when I grew up that like have a lot of lights, so I like to take her and like look at all the lights, and she's like in like a magical land. Like I can see it in her eyes, like the lights in her eyes are like reflecting too. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's like Christmas is the best. Like I love like Astoria like has this such Christmassy feeling during that time, and like especially when they put up the decorations in the streets and they have the lights and the music playing on Steinway, and like I love it. Like I just love everything about it.
What else do you guys do for the holidays that make it special?
I love decorating the tree with her and like decorating the house with her. Like that's like a big thing. She has her own stocking. She knows about Santa. Like it's like a huge thing for me. Like I've always believed in Santa as a kid. Like even now, like I always like to tell people Santa is more of like an energy, a figment, it's the joy that comes with Christmas, and like part of the joy that comes with Christmas, like the fun belief of like, well, there's reindeers coming to my house, and like someone's leaving gifts for me, and like stuff like that. Like
it's magical.
Just
and it's fun.
the magic of it, and like I love teaching her about that, and she gets so excited about it. And the whole milk and cookies thing, we bake a lot during the holidays too. So like cookies is like a big thing during the holidays. I used to love to go to Rockefeller, obviously, to see the big tree. Like that's like a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't really do the whole ice skating thing, but I like to go see the tree, and like I'll just sit there and like just look at it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I don't. It's more Christmas for me is more intimate stuff. Like I like to, I like to watch Christmas movies and drink hot cocoa on the couch, and like like the little like Hallmark style stuff. Like I really love that.
It's the best. It's absolutely the best. I love it. I had so much fun talking with Crystal. To hear more, check out episode 103 or find her on Instagram at crystals_confections_. And if you want to make your holiday gatherings easier, order one of her delicious pies, which will definitely be the talk of the table. Now, we're moving on to the next segment with Naives, owner of Sexy Batch Baking Company. Naives was my first interview for this series, and our conversation really set the tone for all the interviews that followed. I've learned a lot while developing this first season, and something that has stuck with me is just how much personality each business owner puts into what they offer. Naives is all about creating experiences, and in this clip, he describes how he makes that happen during the holidays and throughout the rest of the year.
So I make mugs twice a year.
Okay.
In the springtime, and I release one holiday mug. Now, a holiday mug is not necessarily, it doesn't mean holiday. There's not like Christmas shit, but it's my holiday mug. It's usually the feeling for the season. The first year I did a snow white mug. It was just mug, a white mug, right? Another year was Elegance Black. This past year, 2022, I released my Cashmere Gray, which is like a good holiday feel sweater, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good holiday gift, a mug, to give somebody, and it's well-crafted mug. They're each individually hand-thrown, each individually hand-numbered. And the other thing I would suggest as a gift is I have a Cookie of the Month club. So you subscribe, and every month you get a baker's dozen of cookies curated, shipped to your door.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
So, and sometimes there are cookies, there are flavors that not available to the public. Seasonal cookies like lemon doodles you get, right? Some things that I'm working on, like my experimental cookies, right? So I think that's a really good way of trying new cookies, because if you go to my website, you're only going to buy what you know.
Right.
But maybe you might discover your next tasty treat, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good way to get well-curated cookies, like in a surprise way. It's good as a gift because it's the gift that keeps giving, right? Because it's like not just, oh, hey, here goes a box of cookies. Next month, oh, cookie, oh, more cookie, right?
Yeah.
So those are the two things I think are really good holiday gifts. The mug is good for anybody, coffee and tea drinkers. And if you're a lover of cookies, the Sexy Batch Cookie of the Month Club. The Sexy Batch Baking Company is really about experiences, whether it be eating this cookie, sharing cookies, getting a gift from the cookies, right? It's all about creating experiences and memories. And that's what I want to do with my product.
If you want to know more about his Cookie of the Month Club, check out sexybatch.nyc. And if you need some inspiration as we head into the new year, be sure to listen to episode 101 of this season. Now, I want to share this heartwarming story from Jaleesa, co-owner of Planet Sis. In this bonus clip, we talk about being inspired by past generations and how it impacts our present. So, do you have any sort of like holiday type story that you would want to share?
I have a grandmother story.
Oh, yes. Okay, I want to hear a holiday grandmother story.
Holiday humble grandmother story, because when I was developing her candle, Dera, it was around the holidays. We launched in October. So it was the holiday season, and we started talking about, our candles, and a month later we came out with our holiday collection. And my grandmother said, of course, grandmothers, they always have to humble you in the best ways. But she was telling us a story about, she grew up in Puerto Rico. So she says, we never received gifts for Christmas. She said that, and this is in Spanish, and my Spanish isn't that well, and she reminds us of what failures we are for not speaking Spanish, even though we're Spanish. Thank you. So she was saying how growing up, she got like one pair of shoes a year, and they had to like truck it to school miles away. I'm saying this very informally, not disrespectful. But she said for Christmas in Los Tres Reyes, which is Three Kings Day, which is a week later or so, that they would receive food like under the haystacks or something. She would receive like a guineo or a plátano, and that was the gift. And she would then have to give that to her mother and father to cook. So she never received a gift. And that inspired the three gifts. We came out 2 years ago, we came up with a candle called the Three Gifts. And it was a frankincense and myrrh, and then it had the gold lid. So it was three gifts.
Beautiful.
And I actually gave that to Father Jim, who's the priest at Immaculate Conception. I gave him a candle, and I said, can you smell this? And he said it reminded him of church. I was like, I win. And so, but my grandmother humbled me because, again, going back to how we are in the luxury space, of course, our candles are $18, but, against a $50 candle, I might add, so we're very affordable. But it's still the luxury space. So when we were talking about, we were just talking about candles and gift giving and what are we doing for Christmas? And so our grandmother, out of the blue, was just like, let me ground you guys a little bit of like how I grew up and the things that I would get, growing up. And I'll end this by saying that she said for years that as a young girl, she prayed for a baby doll and never got it because they needed food and that's what they were presented. I swear, I feel like me and my sister should like gift her a baby doll, but like some like American doll that like maybe looks like her from when she was younger.
Yeah.
I think I want to gift her that because she said she never got a baby doll and that's all she prayed for. And so, sometimes I have to think about that as a young girl living in New York City. Like that's a privilege to some people. My grandmother's 81. She's not going to be here for a while. And so I appreciate when she gives us these little moments of clarity, and reflection. So that's my holiday story. And I think just hearing that, you get to see, how family and tradition and morals, values, and beliefs that, that also goes into our line. Because as, young women, we can't forget like where we've come from. And I know our generation doesn't listen, but I promise you we do.
Yeah,
in these
yeah.
little ways. And if I can inspire, a collection that's not so expensive, which is what I do, be thinking about just that story that she shared, that's something I can do for everyone.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I bet she would just love that.
And she probably didn't think we were listening, but we were.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because there does sort of seem, and the internet is very divisive, but like there always seems to be like this, the younger generation doesn't listen and all
Right.
that kind of stuff, but it really does. I like it. Just hearing you talk today, like there's so much that is inspired from your past and from the people who came before you. And even for me, like making this podcast, with a purpose of knowing my daughter might listen to it someday, like that is all stemming from my own mother and what she left for me before she passed away and things like that. So like, I think it's easy to get cynical. But we listened, and I think our children are also listening.
They're listening.
They're listening and they're watching.
We're hard-headed. Trust me. And you know what? Let me cut us some slack. We do things. We want to do things more faster. We're more innovative. We're more techie, and maybe the old timers don't like that. You know what I mean? Because it's funny. My boss. Still doesn't know how to use an iPhone after I don't know how many iPhones later.
Yeah.
So my nephew and my niece, they pick up an iPhone and know how to like work it immediately.
Right.
He goes onto YouTube. I'm like, how do you even know your mother's password? How to get in the damn phone? How to go on YouTube? You're on YouTube. You're spelling. You can't even spell, but yet you're spelling out whatever cartoon you want to watch. I mean. These kids pick up tech like so fast.
Oh, yeah.
My niece is 2 and like knows how to use a cell phone.
It's amazing.
So I think those things are good, but also just ensuring that you have that rich history, ensuring that you have that wisdom from your past and applying it to the future is important.
Yeah, well, you take from the past and you try and build on it and you make it even better and fix any mistakes that you can. And, we're making mistakes. We don't even know the mistakes we're making. But,
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Who
but
knows?
it's working.
Exactly. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fail. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you guys are with me during that process.
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's a life experience. Talking with Jaleesa was so uplifting. And if you want to hear more, check out episode 102. You can also find her on Instagram at PlanetSysCo, where you can get updates on her latest candle scents and special holiday releases. Now, I want to share a quick message from Jason, owner of Astoria Cutlery, and what he had to say when I asked him about his favorite holiday memories.
All of my holiday memories revolve around food, whether it's Christmas with family or Thanksgiving with friends. It doesn't matter if it's in Astoria or California. I just feel like the best way to bring people together is over a meal.
Jason, I couldn't agree more. But I usually let other people do the cooking and I wash the dishes while blasting holiday music. If you want to hear more from Jason, check out episode 104 or visit his website at AstoriaCutlery.com. My husband Eric loved taking his knife sharpening class, so consider it a perfect gift idea for the chef in your life. Before I wrap up this final episode, I'd love to share with you one of my favorite holiday memories. Last year, I got to celebrate my first Christmas as a family of 3. It's been really fun discovering new traditions, and we wanted to find something in the neighborhood, so we bundled up and headed to the Athens Park Christmas tree lighting. We arrived an hour ahead of time, but there was already a huge crowd surrounding the tree, so we opted to get a slice at Salerno Pizza on 30th Ave and wait inside where it was warm. When it was time to head back out, the crowd was even larger, so we had to watch from a distance. When the time came, they did the countdown and flipped the switch. But only half the tree lit, and the whole crowd groaned in unison. I don't think they were ever able to figure out what happened because for that whole season, the tree was never fully lit. Anyway, after a good laugh, we made our way home. On the way, we stopped at Yaya's Bakery for some treats. There was a line, so Eric went in to get the goods, and I waited outside holding our 3-month-old baby girl. I remember she looked so tiny in her pink bear snowsuit, And we stood there in the light of the bakery window, and she was looking up at me. And I'll never forget her dark eyes in that moment. And I thought about all the Christmases yet to come. This first Christmas outing was far from perfect, but even though things didn't go as planned, it's one of my fondest memories. Something I love about our family is that whatever happens, we make the best of it and find joy in just being together. Well, this is the end of Season 1 of the Astoria Podcast. I'm going to be real with you. I didn't think this show was going to do very well, and I told myself I'd finish Season 1 and that would be that. But this community has surprised me. It turns out you like getting to know your neighbors right along with me. So I'm working on bringing you Season 2. I have a lot of new guests lined up to interview, and I'm working hard at getting funding for this next season. Since this is a one-woman operation, it might take a while to officially launch. But you can find me on Instagram at Astoria Podcast, where I'll post production updates, or you can just say, hey, I'd love to get to know you.